welcome to Sitting with the Spitfires. I'm Bob Duff, the sports columnist with the Windsor Star. Today we're joined by Spitfires captain Patrick Sanvido. And Patrick, 5 games till the playoffs. Are you starting to get excited and get the bug for the second season, as they call it?
Yeah, you know, it's being in Windsor for 4 years. I've really only been able to play in the playoffs once. This will be my 4th year, and I remember the excitement then, and it's starting to ramp up again at the rink, and you can feel it in practices. Practices get a little shorter, the weather gets nicer, and you get that feeling back in the air, so it's definitely getting exciting.
Now, there's still some work to be done. You're battling with Sarnia for a first spot in the division. Just talk about the difference between being a top seed by winning a division to if you finish second, and how the road differs in the playoff journey.
Yeah, like I was saying before, it's getting first place in the division. We obviously finished first or second. It would be second with the way the year Erie had, and finishing second means we would play a Owen Sound or Sioux, in all respect to them, but I'd much rather play them than Kitchener or London in the first round of the playoffs, and so it just makes for a little bit of an easier first round, not a drastically easier one, but it makes it a little bit easier, and you know what, either way it's going to be tough, but with the caliber of teams in the Western Conference this year, I think winning the division is especially important, and we'll see where it goes with the last couple games here.
You're a veteran with this team. What have you seen that's made this team so much significantly better than last year's team? Is it just maturing of the veterans, new additions, or a little combination of everything?
I think it's a combination of everything. Obviously, it was a very new experience for most of us, with a new coach, with Rocky coming in, with basically whole new coaching staff, and there was a few new players. We had some really good new players added to the team, and I think with the excitement of having a new coach and the new systems, it kind of let us get off on the right foot, and we kind of just built on it all season. And then we added a few players with Brendan Lemieux at the deadline and Cotter Chatham, and so I think that obviously helps our team out a lot, and it's been a combination with Sergachev and Stanley with the years they've had, and Brownie and Logan Brown, and especially Stan. I think Stan, being with him last year as a rookie and seeing the strides he's made this year, it's very impressive, and he's getting all the praise that he deserves, and I think that's one of the big reasons why we're having a good year.
I've heard many hockey people say this, and as a defenseman maybe you can speak to it. The theory's always been probably the hardest position as you move up the ladder to adapt at each level as defense, because there's so many different responsibilities put on your shoulders as a defenseman.
Yeah, you see it in the NHL all the time. Some D that maybe dominate in the junior level or in college or wherever they are, and then trying to make the jump to the NHL, especially as a defenseman, can be, as they say, one of the most challenging things to do. And it's rare where you see a defenseman come straight from junior to the NHL, and then you see it in the OHL as well. Usually defensemen, it takes them a little while, especially bigger guys, it takes them a little while to come along and really hit their potential in the junior league. And I think that's just, like you said, there's a lot of responsibility. It is probably one of the most important positions, other than maybe a goalie, because as a defenseman you're expected to produce some offense depending on what kind of defenseman you are. You're at least expected to move the puck up well and defend well. So it's for the different levels, it definitely makes it a challenge, especially at the NHL. I don't have experience of that, but like you said, most hockey people say it's the hardest jump to make.
Speaking of the NHL, you are a Dallas Stars draft pick. You look at the Stars, I'm sure you do as well, look at who's on the team and what type of players they have. They certainly have a large number of skilled puck-moving defensemen, but it seems like they lack a bit in your style of defenseman, a stay-at-home guy and take care of the mail and kind of make sure the puck stays out of the net.
Yeah, obviously they're having a really, really good year. I've been following them all year. They made that trade for Chris Russell, but I think that, like you said, they have some pretty good players that are in the minors that play that type of way, and maybe they're just not completely there yet. Like you said, it's a hard jump to make, and but they got some really special players, especially on the back end. You see the year Klingberg's having, and he's obviously a puck mover and an offensive guy, and it is just trying to find a little niche for myself and maybe work my way there eventually. And it's if it's something they need, then obviously I'll try my best to give it to them.
And you're in your second season as captain of the team. A lot of people have almost mythologies about what a captain does, especially in hockey more than any other sport. What do you see the role of the captain being?
You know what? There's a lot to it. I used to say last year was a little bit harder, being the captain of a losing team of a league where only 4 teams don't make playoffs, and we were one of them. So it had its challenges last year. I did a lot more interviews after games last year because I get the interviews when we lose and have to tell how the rooms feel and stuff like that. But it's almost like being a big brother, especially I'm in my 4th year and we do have a little bit of a younger team still. We aren't the youngest team, but we still got some young guys in the room, and just trying to be a good role model for them. Try to show them how to be a pro, coming to work every day, and you know, I could probably sit here and rhyme off 1,000 things that comes with being the captain of a junior team, and it's a great experience for myself, and I love every second of it. But there's a lot of different challenges to it.
How do you think it's helped you grow as a player and a person?
You know what? Having Boogie as a coach for the last 3 years, and having the leaders that I had with my first year, Severio Posa, and then Kirby Reichel, Slater Cuckoo. I hope I don't miss anybody, but having those leaders and just learning from them, and then trying to put it into myself, and just being a good leader in the community. I think that's where I've really developed. I love doing the community stuff. I love seeing the smiles on kids' faces when you give them an autograph or anything. Even sometimes just saying hi, it's really special to me. And you know what, I think that it helps at home. I am an older brother too. I am the older brother, and so I'm not trying to be the captain of the house or anything like that, but my younger brothers, I'm assuming, are looking up to me, and I try to be the best I can every day.
And you mentioned home. I have to ask you about the infamous garage door. Kind of tell us that story and how it's become a kind of a family trophy.
Yeah, I used to shoot pucks in the driveway all the time, and I would for a while I kept the garage door open, but every time I missed the net, the puck would go through the back of the garage door wall. So my mom was getting a little sick and tired of fixing the drywall, so I would just keep the garage door down, and I would miss the net quite a bit, probably a lot more than I hit the net, and there was a lot of puck marks, and I used to call them goals, and because my mom would be very, very upset when she would hear it hit the garage door, and she would just yell at me from inside the house. And so she eventually got a new one because it was a white garage door, it was turning black, and so she got a new one, and ever since then I have not even been allowed to go near it with a puck. So it's the old one's been put away to the side of the house, and my mom's keeping it for her own. She thinks it's a great memory, so she's keeping it. But she would kill me if she found out that I hit the new garage door. That's for sure.
Kind of abstract hockey art, though, the old one. Huh?
Yeah, something like that. That's what I was trying to convince her.
Yeah. Now, the other funny story I read about you is some of your first words you ever spoke were the names of hockey teams.
Yeah, that's. I think the thing in the newspaper when I was born, my dad he jokingly said like future NHL or future Toronto Maple Leafs first round pick or something like that because he was a Leafs fan. I obviously grew up as a Leafs fan, and so when I was younger, they would say my parents would say I was able to tell you any NHL team basically before I could put a sentence together, whether it was saying Toronto, I'd say Maple Leafs, Montreal Canadiens, even though I don't like them, but before I could put a sentence together, I was able to rhyme off every team there was.
Well, I want to thank you for joining us today, Patrick, and best of luck to you and the Spitfires the rest of the season.
Yeah.
This has been Sitting with the Spitfires, and I'm Bob Duff, the sports columnist with the Windsor Star.